We are introduced to Sierra Burgess, who is a high school student. She's intelligent and aspirational and is working hard to be accepted to Stanford University. Since she's neither tiny nor attractive enough to be accepted by high school students, she's frequently bullied by her classmates. However, Sierra has a best friend named Dan who likes her. He falls more on the nerdy side and always has her back. Next, we're introduced to Veronica, a popular and mean high school student who is very attractive. Meanwhile, Sierra hangs a flyer advertising her tutoring services outside her locker. After Sierra leaves, Veronica tears off Sierra's poster as she walks away and places it in her purse. Later, when Sierra is using the restroom, Veronica enters and calls her Frodo, implying that she's ugly. Sierra doesn't feed her hate and tries to dismiss her. In response, Veronica claims that gazing at Sierra causes her eye gauge to go out. Without many confrontations, Sierra states that she understands what Veronica was saying and then walks away. Next, Sierra's teacher is appreciating the remarkable effort she has put to gain admission to Stanford, but she claims she hasn't done anything special. Yet, she's a good student and occasionally tutors other students. However, her teacher laughs at her and advises her to do something unique to stand out. Since Sierra's father is a well-known author, her teacher urges her to write a book with him. The movie Sierra Burgess is a Loser is about Sierra, an intelligent teen who has a crush on a popular boy, Jamie. When he texts her by mistake, thinking he has Veronica's number, she texts him back without letting him know her true identity. Despite some minor turbulences in their relationship, watch how this romantic comedy unfolds for the better. Now back to the story. After a while, we see Veronica hanging out with her friends in a cafe where she talks to them about Spence, her boyfriend who's in college. In the meantime, a guy named Jamie comes up to Veronica and introduces himself. Turns out that Jamie is the quarterback for a different high school football team. When he asks Veronica for her phone number, she provides him with Sierra's number from the flyer since she's uninterested. Later that night, Jamie texts Sierra, believing it to be Veronica's number. He sends a picture of himself when she asks whose number it is. After speaking with him for a little while, Sierra realizes that Jamie must have mistaken her for someone else. However, she keeps her conversation with Jamie going without disclosing anything. The following day, she shares the whole situation with Dan, who urges her to stop the conversations. However, Sierra doesn't appear to be listening to his advice. In the meantime, Jamie and Sierra have made significant progress with their text exchanges and have grown close. She realizes that Jamie thinks he's talking to someone else, yet she still develops feelings for him. One evening, Jamie sends her a photo of himself without a shirt, which makes Sierra startled. A few days later, while Sierra and Dan are hanging out, Jamie texts and addresses her by the name of Veronica. He further says that he often observes her during her cheerleading practices. At that point, Sierra understands that Jamie has been confusing her with Veronica all along. When Dan realizes this, he tries to disclose the truth by snatching Sierra's phone, but she stops him from doing so. The following day, Dan and Sierra are discussing how to handle the whole Jamie situation. Just then, they hear Veronica sobbing as she describes how her boyfriend, Spence, dumped her, telling her that she isn't intelligent enough for him. When her friends advise her to find someone else like her, Veronica becomes upset and leaves the classroom. As Sierra hears this, an idea suddenly occurs to her. She also leaves the classroom and walks over to Veronica. Sierra then offers to tutor her in exchange for help in continuing to talk to Jamie. Veronica reluctantly agrees because she too requires help currently. Next, Sierra shows up at Veronica's home to tutor her. As they settle into the study, Veronica's mother arrives and questions her about her absence from cheerleading practice. When Veronica says she needs to study, her mother replies that she shouldn't miss the practice session because doing so could harm her physique. Hearing this, Veronica slams the door angrily in front of her mother, and they both yell at each other. Sierra is sharing her philosophy lessons with Veronica at her home. Meanwhile, Veronica's sisters are annoying them by making noise which frustrates her. She yells at them angrily and walks out of the room as Sierra follows her and tries to console her. They appear to have developed a soft spot for one another. To help Sierra, Veronica takes her phone and snaps a photo of her to send to Jamie. Later, Sierra reluctantly accepts when Jamie requests to talk to her on the phone. Soon after, he calls her, and they continue talking on the phone all night about their interests and hobbies. In the next scene, Jamie makes a video call to Sierra when she and Veronica are studying together. While Sierra talks behind the camera, Veronica appears to be on the screen. As soon as Jamie informs her that there's lag, the video conversation ends, and the girls joyfully giggle together as their plan worked. Veronica and Sierra end up being close friends and spend a lot of time together despite originally being distant from one another. Later, during their phone conversation, Jamie asks Sierra out on an actual date. Sierra reluctantly declines to accept his offer after some hesitation. The next day, she convinces Veronica to meet him on a single date. Later, as part of their community work, Dan and Sierra are cleaning the park when they come across Jamie playing ball with his little brother. Upon spotting him, Sierra tries to flee while saying that he will recognize her voice. However, Dan approaches Jamie and starts a conversation with him. He introduces Sierra to Jamie as his sister, but Sierra pretends to be deaf because she thinks he might recognize her voice. Meanwhile, Jamie introduces them to his younger brother, who is also deaf. Then they part ways after shaking hands. Later that evening, as requested by Sierra, Veronica goes out with Jamie. Along with her, she brings her friends. In the meantime, Veronica encourages Sierra to be honest and tell everything to him. However, Sierra states that she's not ready to confess the truth and requests Veronica not to kiss him. She's watching from behind as Jamie tries to get closer to Veronica while they're watching a movie. Then Veronica lets Sierra know that Jamie wants to drive her home. Shortly after, Sierra is hiding behind as Veronica and Jamie are hanging out. Suddenly, Jamie tries to kiss Veronica. However, she stops him and requests that he close his eyes. As he closes his eyes, Sierra kisses him while acting as Veronica. In the next scene, Veronica describes how her father left her mother for a 22-year-old and the impact it had on the family. To prevent the same incident from happening to her, her controlling mother pushes her towards cheerleading and popularity. Later that night, Sierra goes to a party with Veronica. Unknown about their bond, Veronica's friends ridicule her, questioning why she's hanging out with a loser like Sierra. In the meantime, Sierra is quite drunk and is having a great time. Then she overhears Spence admitting that he called Veronica dumb merely to make her feel insecure and fragile. Later, Spence invites Veronica to go somewhere with him. In response, Veronica says she can't leave her friend behind. However, Spence convinces her, and they head to the car to have an intimate moment. When Sierra calls Veronica, she receives no answer, so she decides to leave the party alone despite being drunk. Sierra arrives home drunk. Then she gives Jamie a call and confesses her affection for him. She attempts to then tell Jamie the truth about who she is, but she passes out before doing so. The next morning, her parents are berating and scolding her since she returned home last night drunk. However, Sierra doesn't remember anything, but she's quite concerned that she may have told Jamie the truth. Meanwhile, Veronica informs Sierra that Spence dumped her once again through a text message. She then shows Sierra his texts as well as an image of their kissing from the previous night. Being upset, Veronica states that Jamie could never do something like that because he's such a decent person. Hearing this, Sierra asks if she likes him, to which Veronica responds that she doesn't. After some time, Sierra phones Jamie and asks if she said anything weird the night before. He makes fun of her by stating that she's scared to confess her feelings for him. A while later, Jamie runs into Veronica before a football game and kisses her. Because she feels as though she's betraying Sierra, she becomes angry at him for it, and Jamie cannot understand why. From a distance, Sierra notices them as this is happening and becomes upset. Sierra feels betrayed by Veronica's kiss with Jamie. To exact revenge, she hacks Veronica's Instagram account and posts a photo of Spence kissing Veronica and then dumping her. While everyone is watching the football game, the photo goes viral and one boy even displays it on the stadium screen. Jamie is shocked and confronts Veronica, demanding to know whether she's cheating on him. Veronica tells Jamie the truth, revealing that Sierra is the person with whom he had been communicating with all along and that she was just catfishing him. In the meantime, panicked Sierra tries to explain and justify herself when Jamie recognizes her voice. Jamie is horrified, and he warns Veronica and Sierra to keep a distance from him before leaving. In the meantime, Veronica confronts Sierra as to why she committed such a terrible act. Sierra defends herself by saying she did it because she had earlier witnessed the two of them kissing. Distraught, Veronica informs Sierra that she's unaware of how challenging her life is. She goes on to say that the least ugly thing about Sierra is her appearance and leaves. Shortly after, Dan also approaches Sierra and tells her that what she's done is completely wrong and walks away. In the following scene, Sierra arrives at her house in distress. When her parents ask what's wrong, she complains about how tough and embarrassing it is for her to live as an ugly teenager. She continues by saying that because her parents are successful and attractive, no one truly understands what she has gone through. Next, Sierra apologizes to Veronica by writing a song titled Sunflower. She also apologizes to Jamie by text, but he doesn't respond. Then she deletes all his text messages and even his phone number. In the meantime, Sierra has an emotional conversation with her father during which she expresses how challenging it is for her to live in her parents' shadow. On the other hand, Veronica confronts her mother and urges her to move past her father's abandonment and be her own person. It's the homecoming evening, and Veronica approaches Jamie at his home. Just then, Sierra gets a text message from an unknown number telling her to look out the window. When she looks outside, she notices Jamie standing outside her home. He says that Veronica approached him earlier, urged him to listen to Sierra's song, and told him that Sierra is a wonderful girl. He decides to forgive Sierra and invites her to homecoming while bringing her a sunflower. He continues by saying that she is exactly his type as he expresses his feelings, and they share a kiss before leaving for homecoming. At the party, Veronica and Sierra reconcile and hug each other without exchanging any words. In the meantime, Dan also joins them, and the three of them are hugging as the movie comes to an end. The end. I hope you enjoyed it. What was your favorite part? Do comment down below. Make sure to hit the like button. It helps out the channel tremendously, and if you haven't done already, consider subscribing. Now check out the next video if you fancy more recaps from us. Enjoy!